did come a little bit after.
I liked music, but there was a time when my parents split up that I lived in this psychiatrist's basement with my dad. We lived in this tiny place about the size of this room we're in.
Right.
And it was like basically 2 beds and a bathroom. And, I had been hounding my dad for years to get a drum set. And I actually slept beside the refrigerator. And, so if you want to talk about humble beginnings, and I remember he would come home from a long day at work, and that would coincide with the same time that the psychiatrist would stop working.
Right.
So I was allowed to play.
Okay.
And so I would throw on, I think I was playing along to like Marilyn Manson records or Primus records, Wait
a second. You lived with your dad
in
a single room,
Yep.
in a basement of somebody else's house,
Yeah.
and Dad went, "Fuck it, we're getting you a drum kit"?
I think he just realized that I was at this point where it was, I think every parent, I can say this because I'm a parent, whenever your kid brings an interest to you, you're trying to suss out the level of interest.
Right.
Is this part of their core being? Is this something they just heard about?
Right.
And I had been talking about drums for like a couple of years, and I remember him and I driving once and him saying like, "Would you play with anyone?" I said, "I don't know. Right. I don't know if I'd be any good at it. I don't know anything about drums."
So there was a conversation about this.
There was many conversations about it,
No, but I mean like outside of you going like, "Oh, Dad, I want to play drums, man."
Yeah, well, I think that's probably how it started.
Right.
And I think he was just like, what do you, especially because there had been no, again, we didn't grow up in a family where anyone in my family played music. My parents didn't, my sisters
It's not
didn't.
even really a thing, right?
No, yeah, they were just like, what do you mean? Like, where's this coming from? And they're like, well, we'll see, of course, And then it just like, I think I was just, I had like pencils, I was hitting everything, and then I think
were you a pots and, this was later, but I was like, were you a pots and pans kid?
Yeah, basically, I was, and I remember trying to figure out, I could hear these sounds, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and it was like the hi-hat. And I was like, I hear this thing, and and so my dad for one Christmas surprised me. I think I was 16 with a drum set. And then me and this drum set, this old shitty beater kit, became inseparable.
Yeah.
And, it's funny.
It means so much more then, though,
well,
right?
Yeah, and you just don't know when you're going to introduce a kid to something that will change their lives.
Right.
Like, he wouldn't have thought that, well, this guy is now going to go to music school and, tour the world and then start his own business and, like, pay his mortgage with music and the music business. I think, you can't know that sort of thing.
It's funny because, like, I think when you, like, there's different paths to everything, and I understand that, but like when you talk to anybody who's super proficient in just about anything, but let's talk about music for example. If I give you at 15 years old like the top of the line, brand new Pearl Ludwig kit, whatever, that's one thing, and yeah, you like it and you're going to play, but having that little shitty kit, you have to work so hard to make it sound the way you want it to sound that it just has way more value and meaning to you, I think.
I think that at the time too, I didn't care.
Right.
I remember my first cymbal, actually somebody had written Sabian on it. Like, it was definitely like just an old piece of bronze, and I just didn't care. And to me, it might as well have been that top of the line kit, because I was so. It wasn't until I started jamming with people that I started to realize that maybe this isn't like the Cadillac I think it is. But I just didn't care, and I started touring very young.
Really,
I actually left high school to go on a tour.
Get out!
Yeah.